Food is all about discovery, discovering new ingredients, new recipes. I bet when Christopher Columbus docked, they all sat down and had a huge spaghetti dinner.
Well, you know, food was very different back then when he docked in the Americas, but he was an Italian explorer, so maybe pasta, but he sailed for the Spanish, so it's hard to say what he ate. You know, there's a lot of people that actually believe Christopher Columbus may have actually been Spanish.
Well, this crew's ready to eat. So today on Between the Eats,
We're cooking a chorizo lobster mac and cheese on the decks of the Nina and the Pinta.
we're here with Chef Jeff on the deck of the Pinta.
What kind of foods do you cook? Do you cook the Christopher Columbus foods, or you just cook for the appetites of today?
I'd find my bags on the shore if I was doing Christopher Columbus diet. But,
What's Christopher Columbus diet? What kind of food?
Well, they would have had salted pork and beef and salted fish, but most everything was uncooked. So they really didn't need to cook for much. They would cook very rarely because all the black on our ship would have been pine tar.
Okay.
It makes the ship very flammable, so even the captain would watch that closely.
So it looks like you've got everything covered.
That's right. Look, there's nothing more important than covering everything in your show. We have the chorizo for the Spanish, we have the pasta for the Italian, and what's more American than lobster mac and cheese? And the best part of any mac and cheese is
the sauce.
And we have a great one for you and a couple techniques, tips to keep a nice creamy cheese sauce instead of, you know, stringy and clumpy. Right? So I'm just gonna get started with a few simple ingredients here. A little garlic.
This is so cool that we're on the dock where the Nina and Pinta are docked today.
How exciting is that? Could you imagine sailing across the ocean?
I know.
They sailed for over 3 months. Everything was cured. I mean, I guess you had to do that though.
Yeah, to make it last. So here's the thing with mac and cheese. It's not just cheese, I guess would be the number one, right?
Right, of course.
People think like the cheese sauce is just cheese, but I feel like it's not. You have to add so much more in.
Right, and that's what we're doing right now. We're adding a flavor base right now with shallots and garlic into our pan.
Okay.
And then after that, I'm gonna get a little chorizo because we are doing a chorizo mac and cheese.
Okay, now this does not look like the chorizo that I use at home.
You are used to what is known as Mexican chorizo.
Okay,
and
looks like
is
sausage.
Yeah, and it's like, and this is a Spanish chorizo.
Okay.
And it is, it's a cured just like pepperoni.
Yeah, like we can eat it.
Yeah, you can
just
definitely
like this.
try.
You don't need to cook it.
That's it. And that's gonna add some nice paprika to our dish. And we're also gonna want to add a little bit of lobster meat to our pan at this point, because what that does is it releases some of those lobster flavors into the dish.
Wow, does that look good?
So we're gonna saute that up.
Okay. Now you could also do like, put the chorizo just on top, kind of crisp it up and do a topping with it?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, okay.
But this is, what you wanna do is get it in your pan at this point to get the flavors in. This is how you infuse the flavors into your dish.
Looks great.
And once that's cooking, we're gonna add some cream.
Okay.
Just heavy cream.
Now, does it matter if your cream is cold, adding it to your hot pan?
Not at all. That's how you warm it up. And what you do is you kind of reduce it this way, because cream has a high fat content.
Okay.
And the liquid's gonna leave it.
Okay.
And it's gonna get thicker on its own.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna show you a nice technique with our cheese.
Okay.
First,
what kind of cheese is this first?
I have Gruyere and cheddar cheese.
Okay.
Cheddar cheese, mac and cheese is all about cheddar cheese, right?
And then you need that sharpness.
Right, and then the Gruyere is just adds a little sophistication to it for the lobster mac and cheese.
Perfect.
So I'm just cutting it down. You can grate your cheese. We didn't have a cheese grater today, but really you want it as fine as possible.
Okay.
This recipe will work with any cheese because of the technique I'm about to show you.
Okay.
You want to coat the cheese in cornstarch.
So this is the technique for non-stringy mac and cheese. You ready for this?
This is what keeps it nice and creamy for you. The coating of the cornstarch, what it does is it just encapsulates all the proteins and fats in the cheeses, and the cornstarch itself will help thicken your sauce at the same time. And then what you want to do is add that in.
You can really see the cream thickening.
That's right. It's reducing, like I said.
Now do you have to constantly stir?
You want to just stir enough that you know that the cheese is not clumping anywhere. And as it comes up to temperature, it'll thicken. And the cornstarch itself thickens at a much lower temperature than flour does if you do a flour roux with your cream sauce. So now we have the sauce to this nice creamy consistency.
Yes.
We're gonna have to boil the pasta and get the pasta ready, right?
Here, let me get this out of here.
Okay. So obviously, with your pasta, you want nice salted boiling water. And we're just gonna get that in the water. And while that cooks off, you have a tasty little take on Cheddar Bay biscuits, correct?
Yes, we're gonna do Cheddar Bay Biscuit Hush Puppies. So everyone loves the Cheddar Bay Biscuits. It goes great with seafood. But I thought, why not do them as little hush puppies in a pan? Little bite-size. So we're gonna start with 2 cups of biscuit mix, I guess you could say that would be the word, but
Okay.
basically it's wheat flour and baking soda and baking powder.
Okay.
So we're gonna do 2 cups of that. I have 1 in here already. We're gonna add some buttermilk and just make this into like a doughy little consistency that we can roll into balls. Some cheese.
Now, what type of cheese are you using?
This is just shredded cheddar cheese.
Oh, we're really cheddaring it up today.
They're called Cheddar Bay Biscuits, David. So we're gonna add some cheddar in. Also, a little bit of paprika. I don't know technically if Cheddar Bay Biscuit, like copycat Red Lobster biscuits, have paprika in, but I love a little kick in mine. So we're gonna add a little paprika. And then the secret ingredient that they don't want you to know about is the garlic powder.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us why it's so important to have the garlic powder?
Well, that's the main flavor in a Cheddar Bay biscuit, besides the cheddar, would be that garlic. And when you look at most recipes online, they're gonna tell you to put a lot less garlic in than what you actually need. As
Okay.
you've discovered and found out, right? While you've
Yes.
been playing with your recipe.
Okay, so we're gonna just mix this together until it clumps and forms like a doughy. And make sure you mix it with a spoon and then actually go in with your hands, because that's when you can tell, make sure it's not too wet or too dry. We're gonna add some parsley right in. When you do it, you could do this recipe biscuits also, where you put them in the oven. And you could actually do a glaze of the butter, garlic powder, and parsley and just glaze them, and it gives you that little cute shiny with the little green specks for the parsley. It looks really great. But for our purposes, we're gonna put it in
You need your butter.
so that we can do that. So as soon as this starts to clump, we're gonna add butter, because any good Southern biscuits have butter. So just a little bit, like a whole stick.
Melted butter, correct?
Yes, it's already melted.
You want the parsley
Mix
in?
this in. Yeah, let's throw the parsley right in, since we're not gonna glaze these up. Perfect.
There you go.
Okay, so we're gonna mix this. All right, so this is perfecto.
So that's what you're looking for. You want a nice, tight fritter batter. You don't want it real loose, correct?
Yeah, you have to make it into balls. Okay, that was the chef way. My way is you have to make it into balls so they don't fall apart.
Here we go.
So now we're gonna make them into balls, about like 1-inch balls.
You want me to assist you?
Sure, just like meatballs, no meat. Now I'm heating up the oil. Can you tell us when we know the oil's ready? I know what I do, but I want to know the chef way.
Well, you can just drop a little bit in.
Okay, that's what I do. Okay.
So
Now what's the temperature? Like
you're
250,
shooting for
300?
you're shooting for 325, 350.
So we're just gonna throw them in, and they're gonna start to brown up.
You don't want to overcrowd your pan, but you want to get them in at the same time.
They're actually the darker they are, the better,
Yep.
without burning, if that makes sense. So when you think like, oh my gosh, they're burning, they're not. Like that's when they're good.
Or they are.
No, they're not. They weren't. Those were the best ones. I'll show you. here we have our beautiful lobster mac and cheese and cheddar bay fritters.
Looks delicious.
It does look delicious. A big thank you to the Columbus Foundation for allowing us aboard your Nina and Pinta ships. We really had a blast today. This was fun. Right here in Station Square in Pittsburgh.
And remember to subscribe and share with your friends.